SOFI update here on the 24th. So let's just go over the overall count here. The overall count in my eyes is we're either finishing off a fifth wave, be a diagonal, fourth wave came back into the first wave, or this is going to end up being a nested move. The third wave would be gigantic, basically. So this is 1, 2. We have to go up here to like 26 bucks. Pull back and a fifth wave higher. Probably go up here to like 30 bucks or so, something like that. And then pull back for a fourth wave and get a fifth wave higher, like that. So obviously you want this one to happen if you're long. I don't know which one's going to play out. We'll see. Let's go over the short-term time frame now. If we go to the daily, there's a chance that all these nested moves are off a little bit. I've been looking at the weekly time frame, and the weekly time frame suggests that this was actually potentially a whole first wave right here, and then this is a second wave, potentially a third wave finishing off, and we're in a fourth wave, and we get that fifth wave higher like that. Also, the GEX is suggesting 25 bucks here in the next couple of weeks. So I can't sit here and say that this is a nested move as confidently as I did a few weeks ago. If we look at the daily here, you can also see basically 5 waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the RSI, pull back, and then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in here. If you draw a parallel line on the RSI, it basically hits the top here, and then we get this sharp drop right here. Looks to me like it might be setting up for some bearish divergence after making one more high. So how would this play out overall? It would be 1, 2, 3 here, 4, and to be set up for a fifth wave higher like that. You can see here I have this marked as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, if we take the parallel line here from the bottom, clearly comes outside of it, right around that area. And then even better, you can see that this hits the outside right here. So I think there's a good chance that this is the end. This is kind of confusing right here. Let's get rid of this. 3, 4. This right here was 1, 2. This is not obvious. This was not obvious though. Could have been a nested move as well. I'm not saying that there's a possibility, not a possibility this is topped out already. It could have topped out also if that nested count that I put in the last video is correct. But I'm just saying this setup right here could potentially be going higher. Where would it go to? This would end up being a first wave. And you'd just be looking for something like that. This right here was an ABC move. Down. So if this is a top, you're probably just looking at this as some kind of B wave. And it'd probably come down a little bit more, and then eventually we would come down a lot more, because that would be the end of the fifth wave that I showed at the start of the video. But if we can make that move up here to the $26 range, then I'm leaning towards this being the nested wave 3 of 3. And I think there's a very good chance. Let's go back and look at the length of wave 1, if this is the count. And there you go. It takes it right to 26 bucks. So I think there's a decent chance but I'm not 100% confident on it. We'll see. The overall market, I think, is getting ready to pull back here soon. So maybe one last move higher on the earnings, right around earnings, and then a sharp pullback potentially. But again, if that ends up being the nested wave 3 of 3, so to 26 bucks, we're looking at something back down here to 22 bucks. So potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a fifth wave higher like this. And then that wouldn't even be the top. That would only be the end of the third wave. Pull back and another move higher after that. So you can see how this can keep on going. It just needs one more move up here to the $26 range. And then I think we're set up for a even higher move. If it gets stopped out here, then I'm going to lean towards it being the fifth wave of a diagonal, and I'd be looking for a sharp pullback. So that's my thoughts on SoFi right now. What else can I say about this? It is overextended. It still does have that bearish divergence on the weekly, but it could have enough firepower going into earnings after earnings to go up another 20%. And we'd see if this can take out 89 on the RSI. I'm not sure if it can, but I think it's definitely possible. So yeah, it's a little bit different than last video. Last video, I was still sticking to that nested count. I'm not saying that one's wrong either. There's a few different ways you could look at it. It's not obvious because a lot of these pullbacks are so short that normally a second wave, you're looking at the 0.5 fib. This would be a very shallow second wave. This would be not even to the 0.38 fib. So there is definitely some speculative guessing here on the count, but this actually looks pretty good when I look at RSI and I match it up with the chart on the weekly and on the daily. So again, on the daily, you're setting up for bearish divergence if this does happen, because you're probably going to look at something like this. Maybe it takes out the high. We don't know, I guess. But regardless, on the weekly, I'm not sure if it could take out that high. So I'll be following that a lot. We'll see how it goes. This is either a... Let's do a summary because it's going to make a big difference. We're either going to look at this as 4 or A. So this could definitely be the top. And you'd be looking at a B wave and then probably more downside, maybe around earnings, more chop, and then more downside like that. Or this is going to end up going up to 26 bucks is going to be my target. Why 26? Again, that's because the 1.61 fib of this right here is right around there. And then that would give me enough confidence to say that this is a nested wave 3 of 3, which is normally the longest wave. We look at the length of this. This was what, 6 bucks all the way up here to 18.50. So 12 bucks overall, 871 all the way up to 26. We're looking at like 18 bucks. So you pull back to 22 bucks, probably plus like another 12 bucks. You're looking at $34 for the end of the third wave. If that were to happen, 34 bucks, fourth wave, and then you're probably going to get something up to like 45, 50 after that. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. Those are the two options I see going into earnings. I might make another video before earnings, might not, depending on what happens. If it just chops sideways and doesn't really move, I probably won't. But after earnings, should give us a pretty good idea of where we're headed to, and I'll definitely make a video after that. All right, that's it. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I'll catch you in the next video.